मैं अपने नवे स्कूल जान ਲਈ ਤਿਆਰ ਹਾਂ।
I'm ready to go to my new school.
ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਲਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਈ
What if I don't understand anything in the class?
ਜੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ ਉਡਾਇਆ
What if the other children make fun of me?
ESL population is just growing tremendously within Calgary. We're up to more than 35,000 ESL coded children. It's almost like we're in a crisis situation within the schools. We have an influx of children who are coming from different parts of the world who speak all these different languages. So what I wanted to do was to come up with some sort of strategies to support these languages and to promote a better understanding of how these skills could become an asset rather than an obstacle, to help these children from an academic perspective as well as an emotional perspective and give them more pride and confidence in who they are. Our goal was to develop a socio-cultural understanding around how languages could actually serve as a bridge rather than a barrier. Elementary schools give us that base. One of the questions I've had people ask me is why elementary schools, and I think that this is the future of our country, and so we need to start at that level.
Mango, try some mango.
There was tremendous amount of interest, but at the same time there was a lot of uncertainty in terms of how they could potentially use these books as pedagogical instruments in their classrooms. And there was also unease in the sense that the teachers were monolingual and they felt uncomfortable using dual language books, and they thought that it was essential that they speak the language. So that was one of the premises of the project, that is to help teachers understand that you do not have to speak a language to promote it within your classroom, that source is going to be drawn from the community through parental involvement, through community involvement, and that even your students are going to be your resource and your guide through that discovery of languages.
You found that book?
I was also involved in the Master of Teaching program with students who spoke a variety of languages. So our goal was to promote inquiries around languages and how, pedagogically speaking, we could use them as an asset in terms of literacy acquisition within the schooling system. So at that point, when these students came onto the scene, it just took off in a way that I'd never even imagined. These students had various motivations to promote the whole idea of dual language books, and they used them in ways that just gave the project a lot of power.
The whole point of this is inclusion through language. The moment you start using their home language, you're starting that bridge between school and between home.
It gave the students a sense of worth, and they felt welcomed when they were able to do the dual language readings with me, so they felt they were part of the classroom. And that meant a lot to me, and I think it meant a lot to the students.
The outcomes were at several levels. In terms of the children, we were successful in promoting a general climate of acceptance and tolerance around the notion of having different languages within your classroom, irrespective of whether you speak those languages or not. It promoted curiosity amongst the children to have a dialogue between themselves as well.
A young Russian boy, the moment we started reading in Russian, his eyes were all of a sudden, so bright, and he was so excited that we are sharing the language, and he started speaking Russian with me. It opened a whole new identity.
Children who knew how to read another language were right away very excited. With the younger students, if once you started reading, there was a few initial giggles, but for the older children, both students who could speak another language and could not speak another language, they really connected the experience to learning about each other and respecting each other's experiences.
So Lima went to the kitchen for a nibble.
It's nice to see how the dual language books are kind of portrayed in the classroom and how they make the students that have just newly arrived feel more welcome. And it's really a comfortable feeling that they gain, and sometimes the parents come in and watch and actually participate in the dual language readings.
From a community perspective, it brought in parental involvement. So people who would have never had the courage to maybe step into a classroom and read a book in English now were suddenly empowered because they knew something that others didn't.
Elle n'a pas pu garder son secret longtemps.
These books have truly empowered some of the parents to feel like they are being recognized and that despite their language barrier, that they're welcome to be involved in the school environment. If I compare that experience to my own experience growing up, I feel that oftentimes the language barrier disconnected my own parents from my school. And what I would want to say to that the most is that my parents knew just as much as every other parent, however they just weren't able to communicate.
In terms of professional development, it showed us how important it is for student teachers to be able to work on some of these strategies and how important it is in terms of culturally responsive pedagogy in today's schooling system.
It really showed me that literacy can be used in many ways and how literacy can be the foundation to many things in your class, just not for the students to learn how to read, but also bring your class together and create relationships.
I never imagined that it was going to come out as something so dynamic. It's shown me how important the work is and the fact that people take it to heart, and the fact that when research touches real life, this is what it can do.
It made me so aware of all the benefits of these dual language reading books and of what is still available out there. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg for me. I think there's just so much more that can be done with this, and I think it needs to be in all of the schools across every province in Canada. And I'm hoping that this will expand in the next few years and will take off even more.
Now the future is even more exciting because now the challenge is to show people how you measure this kind of success, because often I've had, responses saying, yes, all this is very good, this is anecdotal evidence, now give us some facts about what the impact a structured dual language reading program can be. So that's what our second phase is about, a longitudinal study where we're actually going to be measuring literacy acquisition and seeing whether reading in another language benefits the children in terms of their literacy acquisition in English.
But no matter how hard she tried,
I think that one of the things that's at the heart of culturally responsive pedagogy is that multiculturalism needs to be taken off the pedestal, and it's not about food, folklore, and festivals, but it's about real people and their lives, and that what's the thing that touches you the most? It's your language.
That's the end of the story.
So the minute you bring that into the classroom context, you're automatically reaching out to people and you're showing them that they are recognized and that they have a voice. And I think there's no better way to serve Canada's multicultural society.
I'm proud of you. Yes,